Coming to you live on the Government Access Channel from Mario Bagnoni Chambers in beautiful downtown Erie. It's the Taxpayers Hotline Show with your hosts, Kaz Kwiatkowski and John Steiner.
Was that Colorado Pete?
You just made that name up.
Yeah. He can be an addition of Hotline Cassidy.
I haven't seen him around. Usually I see him on social media a little bit.
Wonder what's up. We gotta.
All right. He was here that one time and then.
Yeah. Then he disappeared.
Yeah. What's new, Cass?
Yeah. Me, it's been interesting.
It's been interesting.
Yeah, it was a good week.
Good week for you?
Yeah, we were down at the League of Cities.
Where's that at?
This year was in Gettysburg.
Oh, okay. What's going on in Gettysburg?
Well, I learned a lot of stuff,
Did you see we were in the Wall Street Journal today? Did you hear
Yeah,
about that?
isn't that funny how we get featured right about the time we're having a difficult vote?
Which vote is that?
Well, last meeting was interesting.
Well, let's talk about that.
What, you know what happened?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, look, what do you got, a caller?
Yeah, there's some guy on the line, I think. You there, caller?
Yeah, hi. I'm calling about what did the city decide about the insolvent issue?
What did we decide about being solvent?
Yeah.
We always
decided
want to
that-
be solvent.
We decided that we want to be.
Yeah, we always, that's not a question, it's how we get there.
No, I'm talking about to be insolvent.
Say that again?
What?
Say that one more time.
Is the city going to do anything to prevent the state from not taking them due to insolvency?
The state will not take us over unless we apply to be taken over. We're not even close to being taken over. Our pension, although slightly distressed, is not anywhere near what the state would consider a takeover aspect. Our finances are solid. What we've done is, and the mayor done it with the acquiescence of council, was to bring a firm in to look over our situation so that long term we don't go into insolvency. Just what they did is advise us on steps we can take to not get there. We're not there, okay? We're not, we're in no danger of being taken over. Believe me.
It is run by a bunch of buffoons.
Pardon?
Best of Joe is a buffoon.
Well, I mean, we don't.
I mean, why would you say that?
I mean, you really shouldn't say that. But
I mean, look, he's the only mayor in recent years. Well, I know he wasn't. There was one other report. We've done this report before. Joe Sinnott did it.
It always comes back bad. It comes back bad for the city.
Well, did you read the report?
City.
Did you read the report?
Yes, I did, and it was junk.
So where did it say it was bad?
It was bad because people are leaving the city.
Yeah, but that's happened that's happened since 1960,
yeah,
58, okay?
I mean, plus, if you call the current mayor a buffoon, technically, his seat isn't even warm.
Hey, when
yet.
Lou
He's not even been in there, what, a year?
Wait, when Lou Tullio was there, the city started declining, and it's no fault of Lou Tullio or any mayor since. It's just the way the world is going.
We have the whole Rust Belt and the whole Great Lakes region.
Fill out grant applications.
Pardon?
Julio did.
What did he say?
I can't.
Repeat that, sir.
The only thing Tulio did for the city was to fill out grant applications.
Well, yeah, we took advantage of it, but look, this decline has been going on for years, and it's been going on in every city in Pennsylvania except
Tulio was there for what, 25 years?
Except Allentown. They're the only town that has turned the trend around, and that's because they're a bedroom community for New York City and Philadelphia. But Pittsburgh has lost population.
I like that.
Philadelphia lost population.
Cleveland. I mean, all the Rust Belt cities were all struggling.
Look, I fight as much as anything with this mayor. I disagree with him on a lot of things. I wouldn't say he's a buffoon because, you know what? We did this study to find out, and look, that study didn't tell me or a lot of people anything we didn't know, but it reaffirmed the fact that
People are leaving the city because the city's not a great city. people are leaving the state because of nothing keeping them here.
No, they're leaving the city because A, they don't want to pay the taxes. B, they've been, there's other reasons which I'm not going to on the air.
The school, people feel the
And-
school district is failing, the taxes are high.
I believe a child is entitled to an education.
Well, then you better take that up with the Commonwealth because that's a Commonwealth function.
Yeah, that's not.
And even the Erie School District doesn't have a lot to say about the funding level that comes out of Harrisburg. So I would advise you,
Hey,
talk to your legislators about the funding formula.
Well, that's why we're trying to turn
be a
things
good
around.
city like it was back in the 50s. What's going on?
Well, we had manufacturing and we had jobs that paid family sustaining wages. Without manufacturing, we need to reinvent ourselves, and I think we are
Bring off some of the
starting to.
Hammett or maybe Gannon.
What about it?
Maybe selling off some of the city to Hammett and maybe Gannon.
What about Gannon?
I don't know. It's
You
not-
said something about Gannon?
Would the city be willing to sell off sections of the city to Hammett and maybe Gannon?
Why would we,
That
you
makes
can't
no
sell a city.
That's the last thing we want to do.
You can't sell a city. A city is an incorporated political body
I wish we
of
could.
the Commonwealth of
I wish we
Pennsylvania.
could sell the city to somebody.
You can't do that.
You can't. We already have enough nonprofits.
It can be acquired by another political body.
We're trying
but
to
you can't
stop.
have somebody
we're
private
trying
owning
to
it.
stop them from buying stuff.
Has Hammett wanted to buy the city?
I mean, that doesn't even make any.
No, they don't want to buy it. You know what? Why would they want to buy it? They'd have our problems. They'd have to buy our debt. They'd have to.
Exactly. They'd actually have to pay for stuff.
Yeah, they'd have to, instead of paying 50%, they'd have to pay 100%.
Yeah, they don't want our headaches. They want to just live there for free. Why buy the cow when you get the milk for free?
Yeah, I mean, come on.
Wait for free anyway.
Well, sure they are, because, nonprofits in this Commonwealth have a free ride, okay? We can't do anything to them.
I'm in the city, a lot of nonprofits got a free ride too.
Well, sure they do. It's under state law. That's why you're gonna see some novel ideas coming out. I'm not gonna release them, but you'll hear some crying and gnashing of teeth when they come out, but there are things we can do legally.
When are they coming out?
Do what?
I don't wanna say, because, you tip off, they're in the press, and then,
Yeah.
I want it to be a surprise when we hit them.
I'm not in the media. Okay, so you can tell me.
No, your media's listening here, okay?
Trust me,
Whenever you tell more than one person what you're gonna do, it's not private
out of the
anymore.
12 people that watch this show, 3 of them are
Just tell me,
media.
please tell me. Dad, I'll listen.
Well, you just watch the news and you'll
Yeah.
see some of the things we're gonna suggest.
Yeah, you can't let the cat out of the bag sometimes. You got to keep things under wraps until you
Yeah,
get,
we said some one
until
time.
you
at a
get
con-
enough momentum and you get enough support.
me.
Huh?
I'll listen, tell me.
What ain't gonna happen? Even if you and I were in a private room, once I tell you, it's not private anymore.
Even after a couple brewskis at the Trinity
Yeah.
Club, Kaz can't tell you.
No, these are things that we're gonna do, and you know what?
Well, yeah,
Hey, guess what? It's time for some bold moves.
tell me.
It's the 12th hour.
Yep.
11th hour.
Yeah, we're at the point, we're like the guy walking along the street picking up nickels a dime.
I mean, it's
Not public.
Pardon? It only becomes public when we make it public.
Okay, when are you gonna make it public?
When we have some discussion on it.
when you make it public after you have. There's a lot that goes on before
Day does it come
people
out?
comes out here. People come out here and talk.
It may be a bad idea. We have to vet it to make sure it's legal. But some of the ideas we're coming up with, I think it's our only way to do it. So just stay tuned.
Stay tuned. Yeah. Da-da-da.
Hey, thank you for calling.
Thanks for calling. We gotta get some other callers.
Yeah, when we were down in Gettysburg and
Yeah.
you talked to other cities,
Yeah.
there's a lot of things we did wrong in the past.
Uh-huh.
And we can't bring that back now because
Yeah.
the state has taken away from third-class cities
Yeah, the state.
a lot of things that we can't do that they could have done. If we had done them, we would have been grandfathered.
Well, I mean,
And now it's a mistake because we can't go back there now.
yeah, right.
It's like little things like you can't, people look at me and they go, you're getting room tax on the hotels. No, we're not. Only the county can
That's
collect
the
it.
county. Go ahead, caller.
Hey, I got a question. I guess in the past weeks we've been talking about cutting taxes. I'm cutting expenses in the city,
Right.
and I just wondered I heard this mentioned one time briefly about selling Perry Square to some private entity like Gannon or Erie Insurance, so that they could maintain it.
I don't think you can sell it because it's a city asset, and usually there's a dedication clause way back that was. I'll give you an example. Remember Nick Scott out in Mill Creek?
Yeah.
They tried to sell Scott Park, and they found out that that was a long-term deed from the family. I'm thinking it was not the Scott family. It was ones that own Elgire Farms.
Right.
And they where they used to have the horse farm out there. Well, those things, just like the airport was dedicated to the city for use as an air facility.
The same
A
thing.
year or so ago, maybe a couple of years ago, on the local news, they were saying that I heard a police spokesman say they couldn't control people who were drinking in the Perry Square because there wasn't an ordinance.
Well, there isn't, and we're gonna pass one. We're working on it right now. There are some council members that aren't happy. We're working on two ordinances. One is no smoking, which has been done in a lot of cities. It's not anti-smoke, it's more like, okay, it's a park. We don't want the debris of smoking. We don't want, when kids are there, it should be a clean air environment. Same thing with the drinking. We're looking at that. And those are still in the hopper. They're on hold right now, but they will be brought up. What you're thinking might happen, and you can do this like we did with Frontier. We can temporarily put an organization in charge of running it for us. You give them, we have a Perry Square Foundation, a board. We can give them the power to.
Is it a 501c3?
I don't know how they do it. You have the Frontiers,
Leaf.
the consortium.
The Leaf.
Yeah, the Leaf, and
Yeah.
what they do is they tell us what they're gonna do, but they raise money independently and through grants and everything with our okay, and then they build facility. You can do that. You can't give away you can't sell a park
The same
a
thing
lot of
as
times.
with the Erie Golf Course.
I mean, if you could, just as an example, you could sell it to Erie Insurance, their own security, which I know they have. They could take care of any kind of issues that take place.
Well, they're not a police force. Here's the problem.
They do have a security.
Yeah, but they're not a police force. The only one that has a police force in the city of Erie, to my knowledge.
Erie Insurance Properties.
Yeah, but they don't have arrest powers.
No, but they can clear the people out.
Well, no, only if we let them. Here's
I don't think they carry guns or anything.
no, but they can't go into the park.
Don't carry guns, but if someone's on my property and I don't want them there,
Yeah, but Perry Square is not the property of your insurance.
I know, but that's what I'm saying. Sell it to them.
I think it's been deeded,
well,
kind of like the
you
Erie
can't-
Golf Course. You know how the Erie Golf Course
Well,
was?
here's what we were told. We could, to our knowledge, we can't give away Glenwood
You know,
Because it's deeded to the city, so that's why they
for a
can't.
specific use.
Right.
We can give it to the zoo. That would meet the criteria. I think Downing is different. We have never looked into it, but we were told Downing probably could be sold because there's no restriction.
Yeah.
Perry Square is a public park dedicated by ordinance.
Right.
No one would look, that probably is not gonna happen. But to get back to the police force, so everybody understands this. Any law enforcement agency operating within the city or any township has to get what they call a memorandum of understanding. That's an MOU. It's a fancy word for the local police and political branch get together with them and they go over what they can and can't do. So Mercyhurst has a police force. It has no powers outside of campus.
right.
And same thing with Erie Insurance. Now Gannon, just so everybody knows this and they're not surprised, Gannon is a fully rated police department, can give you tickets on a city street within their geographic boundaries, can arrest you inside their campus grounds.
Well, I understand, but I'm just bringing it up because I heard the policeman say that they wouldn't issue any kind of.
Well, they probably can't because there's no specific ordinance except for what they call public nuisance, disobedience. We're taking care of that with, by the way, the chief was part of that and telling us what he thinks he needed. So we're gonna give him that tool for his toolbox. And yes, we're gonna pass ordinances. I don't think anybody thought we needed them before. We didn't have the problems we do today.
One more
But,
thing I want to bring up.
but, I'll let you, don't worry, you can give plenty of time. But, yeah, don't think that Erie Insurance can arrest people off campus. I don't even know if they can arrest them on campus. They can detain them, but, you know,
And then call them.
right. Go ahead, sir.
I have one more thing I want to bring up.
Sure, go ahead.
The city is having a monetary shortfall, right?
We have a problem with, revenues in the future not being able to meet expenses, yes.
Right, so I had an idea, over in London, they have a thing where, commuters that live outside the city of London that drive in every day are taxed per car.
Right, and we can't do that.
Right.
The problem we have in Pennsylvania is there's, as you're aware, Philadelphia is the city of the first class. Pittsburgh is the city of the second class. I believe Scranton is a city of the second class A category. And everybody else, the Reddings, the Yorks, the Harrisburgs, the Allentowns, the Eries, even Corey is a third class city. We are limited to what we can do. We're trying to change that. The only way, here's the only thing people pay on now is that $52 a year LST tax, which is a public safety tax. They call that a commuter tax, but it's not really. It can only be used for public safety. That, and we get to charge them 0.018 above the 1%. So it's 0.0018 comes into our, by way of our income tax, into our pension fund. But presently, we're not allowed to charge a commuter tax.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great idea, and we, like I said, we were down at the League of Cities this week, and we go over this stuff about different things we need, and, it comes down to the legislature has to start giving third-class cities a little leeway. We can't even charge on the hotel rooms down that are within our jurisdiction. Now, Philadelphia can, Pittsburgh wasn't supposed to be, but they made a deal with the county, because Pittsburgh is Allegheny County. It's not the same thing in Erie County. I mean, we're big, but we're not, almost the entire county.
Right.
So we can't even charge on the 2 or 3 hotels that are presently in the city. We don't get a room tax.
Okay. All right, well, thanks for your time.
Thank you for calling, because you know what, you have some,
I mean, you're right.
you have some nice, I'm gonna use your ideas when I keep pushing these things.
It's sad. I mean, the busiest street at 7:30 in the morning and 4:30 in the afternoon is the Bayfront Highway of everybody rushing out of town.
Yeah,
And then they wonder why the city itself, everybody wants to come and make their $75,000, $80,000 a year jobs right downtown here, then run on out of the city as soon as it's 5 o'clock bell rings, and then they wonder why we can't afford roads, we can't afford, to make things right, but nobody wants to pay. They want to run out there and pay their little township taxes and just to heck with us, even though they work at a nonprofit in the city. So that leaves everybody in the city to pick up their slack, and it is not fair.
you still there, sir?
Yeah, thanks for your time.
Hey,
Yep.
thank you. Call again. You got some excellent
Yeah,
suggestions.
I mean, he's on the right track.
He is, and I feel bad because when you look at what we can't do,
Yeah,
and it's no secret and they said this when PFM was up here. Biggest part of our budget, what we can't do is, long-term, our revenue is flat. And it will remain flat unless we can get people to move back in the city. The only way you can raise taxes without, I know it's gonna sound weird now. The way to raise taxes without raising taxes is to broaden your base. And that's what they're doing in Mill Creek and Summit.
yeah.
So they're
At our
bringing in more
at our
revenue,
expense.
but it's not increasing on the homeowners much
At our expense.
because they're spreading it out.
Yeah, right.
And so what has to happen in the city is we have to get people moving back in. But when the majority of your budget is wages, benefits,
Yeah.
okay, and employees, you got very little wiggle room except layoffs or cut of services.
Right.
So when you look at that and you go, and then the biggest part of those expenses are healthcare and pension, which are negotiated.
Yeah.
And some of them are negotiated by binding arbitration, which you can't control.
Which you lose all the time.
Yeah, so I mean, when you look at that and you go, now all these people, God bless them, but they leave the city. So A, you don't get the real estate tax.
Yeah.
That's out the window. The income tax, except for that little piece we're allowed to charge above, that tax, no, people still don't understand that. That goes back to where you live.
Well, you know, I saw that.
So, and then John, you know, they probably, except for the lunch they may buy downtown, or the couple beers they have,
Yeah.
where do they buy their groceries? Not here, probably.
No, you can't, because unless you buy your milk, you buy your ice cream, whatever, you buy that close to your house, so
And
it's
so
not
where do
melted or warm by the time.
And where's everything open up? Not here in the city.
Well, that's because there's nobody, well, there's people, well, we've already covered that.
Yeah.
Nobody has any money, unless you wanna stop, shop at the Dollar General. Well, actually, I rode by that store, the market that opened, they were pretty busy in there.
Which one's that?
On State Street.
Oh, I mean the Oasis.
Yeah,
Well, you know, I keep calling him John Persinger talked to us, you know, at the last meeting.
yeah.
And we asked him some pointed questions. I don't think people understood why we were, what we were doing.
Well, you got, I saw you guys caught a little heat on that too.
Well, that's okay. Catching heat is good. You know why?
Yeah.
That's what I get paid to do. I don't work for the Times.
You don't fly by, you do what you gotta do for the tax.
Well, I don't work for the newspaper or the media.
Right.
You know, it's not, here, you know, we asked him straight out. He said, you know, you're talking about this food court. And he told us straight out that no big time market, he didn't go into names, but, you know, they contacted various outfits. No market wanted to come in here.
Big shocker there.
Yeah, but I mean, now now when you see that, you see what they're up against. Now they have to find either some local people, you know, to come in. I still can't find out what happened to our guy across the street. I'm trying to find out about, you know, the guy that had the farmer's market, like, you know.
Well, I think he moved it over to, in front of the, they were selling something over there by Dave's Diner.
Oh, really? Yeah, but he had a big tent at one time, you know.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So, I mean, when you look at that and you see what they're up against, you know, the bus station wants to put a market in.
I don't think that would be successful.
But you know what, you're gonna have to find somebody locally, you know, a small guy, or a series of small people that wanna do it.
Serafini to come down there, do something down there, like, you know, like the stuff he has there, Larry's on
And see,
Sash.
maybe that's what you do, you have like, maybe some of these little farmers, they got like Picardo and them, and,
Or have the, you know, sell the meats that like at, what's that place on German?
yeah, or Banyaks,
Urbaniacs,
and maybe some Amish people from, you know,
or Smith's, you know, Smith outlet store.
and work, you know, when I was in the East, they had the Amish people come in with their, there is a store like in Cochranton or something. My sister was telling me where it was. Now, if they came up here a couple times a week, you know, give people an option.
But as an example of how a store fails, look no further than 6th and, out there by East Avenue. You had
Right.
the quality, you had Loblaws, that was my first job ever,
Yeah.
Loblaws. And then, the chains left, so we had the local market, Sanders,
Yeah.
moved out there, and that folded.
Well, you know, like where I live, at one time there were easily 4, 5, maybe 6 markets within a mile radius.
Absolutely.
I mean, you had, like, you know where I live, by Mercier's, right?
Yeah.
You had DNR out by where the skating rink is. That was originally a market.
Yeah,
You had various options at Pine Avenue there.
yep,
You had Perry Plaza. You had where the Value Home Center is. That was a grocery store. You had the ones at the plaza, Grandview Plaza. They were all over the place.
I mean, I grew up on, you know, down by the Russian church, and we had Levy's Market, we had, on 4th and German, there was something too on the corner there.
Yeah.
Right by St. Patrick's where I went to school. You had IGA.
Right.
Golden Dawn on 6th Street, where the little plaza is.
Yeah.
Then you had the store, you know, low or whatever it was, Loblaws or something.
Well, when I was a kid, we had 2 at Liberty Plaza. Just in the plaza alone, not counting,
Yeah, right,
you know, the A&P that was on 26th and Browns Avenue area.
yeah,
But, you know, what it comes down to is when the people moved out of the city,
yeah.
you know, the people that had the income level,
You can't, as a business owner, as a chain business, when you see the 16501 designation and
Yeah.
you see the median income, you'd be foolish, I hate to say,
Yeah.
to invest.
Well, that's why, what has to happen is, and if you listen to the plans, if they're successful in bringing people with money,
Correct.
I mean, I'm not saying money, but people young people,
Young people that make, what, $60,000-$70,000.
or doctors that want to just have a,
You have you have the innovation district, you have doctors, you have nurses, you have Erie insurance employees.
they're not
You
quite
have-
ready for a family house.
You have city employees. Listen, the city is for young people.
Yeah.
The city is for, not even for, young professionals that like the nightlife, that like the hubbub of a city.
Right.
Between their 20s and maybe 40.
And Gannon, they want to put their professors back.
Yeah.
So, in the old days when I was at Gannon, and it wasn't that long ago, we had 2 grocery stores on State Street. We had the one State Street Food Market.
Yeah.
Then you had, I think it was the one near Boston store. Was that Rudy Voss, or I can't remember. No, maybe it wasn't. There was a market right next to, virtually right next to Boston store. In fact, you could go through to the Boston store from the grocery store. They were tied in.
Yeah.
It was right on Peach Street. And
People don't, I don't know, it's different now.
yeah, it is. And, the college kids used to shop at these places, because they lived on campus. And, then you had the one, what was the one at West Side, Rudy Voss? Up the street?
Sounds familiar, yeah.
But now it's getting tougher. But, this is why we had some hard questions to ask Persinger, what they want to do.
Well, it's fortunate that we have people actually putting their money where their mouth is,
Yeah.
but the clock is ticking.
Well, the only thing council come under fire for was, and I will support my colleagues in this, okay? I'm not against it, never have been, you know that,
Against what?
against, what's going on, the development. However, I want to be part of that discussion, okay?
Yeah.
What I don't want is something coming up on council agenda 24 hours or less before we vote on it.
Well, you should be used to that.
Yeah, but you know what, that's not going to happen anymore, because
Oh, yes, it will.
you see what happened last time, right? They didn't get,
They didn't get what they wanted.
no, and they're gonna probably get it because they came and talked to us, okay?
What did they want? Refresh my memory.
Well, there was an RCAP loan on the line,
Okay. Oh,
a grant.
For them.
yeah. And,
Listen, these grant, I'll tell you about.
yeah, but here's the thing, John. People in this town, above the level councilman, and other people knew about this plan.
Yeah.
Council was never advised of it. We heard about it through bits and pieces, okay? Yet we're the ones that gotta vote on it at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying it's bad, okay?
Yeah.
But, in most of the towns I talk to, my colleagues around the state, there are discussions that, they come in, I'll tell you what, and I'll give you an example, Nick Scott. Nick Scott sat right there in front of council, told us his plans, okay?
Yeah.
Tommy Hagan. Right there, his people told us their plans,
Yeah.
pretty much, okay?
Right.
This plan, everybody says, well, it's been on the news. That's not what council wants to hear. It's not our job to watch the news,
Yeah.
okay? You come here like Mr. Persinger did at the meeting, when he's called in, and you give us the same
Well, I
presentation.
mean, the RCAP is state money, so. who
Yeah,
cares what you guys
but
think?
John, we have to okay it, okay? And there were questions as
Why
to,
do you have to okay it?
that's the way the law reads,
Really?
yeah.
Wow.
So I mean, if we're part of the process,
Yeah.
okay, we have a right to know what's going on, okay?
Well, that I agree with.
First of all, there was a discussion about one of the members wasn't happy because the community college was eliminated in that round of funding, right? And so they wanted to know why was this one given priority, who stepped in? So council just wants to know, what are you up to?
Right.
What are your future plans? And do they fit into our plans? It's easy to say, do this and do that. Remember, the things we do today might come back and kick us in the ass 20 years from now.
Yeah, right.
I shouldn't have said that, but,
I get the point.
but that, as a council member, it is inappropriate for me to be a rubber stamp for anybody in this town.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate. I don't
Okay.
want, as far as that goes, I don't want 7 people putting their own little political spin on everything that goes on. I mean, as the mayor, or as somebody that, you know how the grant process works, Cass.
Yes, but John, here's the problem. The mayor knew
Less
about it.
politicians
The mayor,
involved.
wait, John, that's not the way it works though. The mayor knew about it,
Okay,
all right? He
Yeah.
knew about it long before we did.
yeah,
We should have been in on that. Because we're all, okay, what it comes down to, the mayor can have all the vision he wants,
yeah.
but it takes 4 people
Well,
by ordinance, by law, okay? And why are those people who, by the way, are the representatives of the people?
You've had more, well, I know you had very little communication with the prior mayor.
Yes, and I asked, by the way, some of the things that you brought up, I asked them specifically, okay?
Which stuff?
I'll tell you after, you know.
Okay.
And I didn't get the answers I wanted, okay?
Yeah,
And so this is why council has to know things, okay? Look, yeah, we're a pass-through agency for the grant. Nobody's questioning that.
yeah,
But even when Nick Scott got his RCAP and Tom Hagan, they sat there and they explained to us their long-range plan.
there's specific
Okay.
reasons as to why,
And there's specific reason why no councilman should ever just
I-
vote blindly, John.
I agree. I mean, I'm not saying vote blindly. You guys, if, they should not drop something down here
Well, they
and
did,
say,
John.
vote
We,
now.
look at, outside of what I read in the media, okay, and outside of what you told me, I had no idea what they were up to. I mean, look, you can spend 3 hours with the touring a building with the media,
Yeah.
and they're gonna put in there what they want to, right?
Yeah,
Okay? Council, who has to vote on this, we got hit with it, like on a Monday, and by Wednesday, we had to vote on it, with no idea of what it encumbered.
table it.
We did.
Oh, okay.
And then Mr. Persinger came here and gave us an explanation.
Well,
If that's wrong, I wanna be wrong all the time, okay?
Yeah,
Okay, because look, John, I'm not appointed to work for the mayor. I'm
Right.
not appointed to work for EDDC, okay?
right.
I represent the people. And when people have questions and they go, well, what are they up to? What are they doing?
Yeah,
I wanna ask them straight out, what are your plans?
right.
Okay? And we had a very good discussion here. Okay, we did. We, you know, a lot of the air was cleared. For myself, I can't speak for, okay?
Yeah,
And that's what makes our system great, John. You don't have to like it, okay? Everybody says, we don't need Yes, you do. That's our government. We are a Republican representative form of government. Not Republican that way. Republic,
a republic.
yes. And remember what Franklin said, you'll lose it if you can't keep it. Okay, there's a reason why the mayor is the administrative head. That's fine. Okay, but he has to enforce the laws we make, okay?
Yeah,
But at the end of the day, it's our job, our names go on there.
Yeah.
If something hits the fan, the mayor can go back, oh, you know, it's council, yeah, well. And I tell all these
You
people,
guys just-
we are an equal part, look, what are they doing at the community college? County council's part of it.
yeah.
How would you like it if not Joyce, but how would you like it if the county exec left the council out? Do you think Carl and those guys would be?
Tried.
Yeah, but, okay, now would they be happy?
Well, you saw what the newspaper wrote about it yesterday.
Should I call the county council obstructionist because they want to do their duty?
Yeah,
Think about if you know, John, think about the school board, right?
yeah,
If the superintendent can do what he wants,
right. Carte blanche, yeah,
carte blanche, then why even have a board?
yeah, right,
You have no,
right.
you have no check and balance. I mean, look, I'm not saying it's a bad idea, but before they come down here, okay, we're elected to be able to see the broad, okay? Like, Lisa Adams had on the news, well, no, we're not obstructionists. We want to know what the hell's going on. It's not my job to stay home and watch 11 o'clock news or to buy a newspaper.
They labeled you as obstructionists.
Well, something to that effect,
They did, I mean, you just found out about it. How are you?
Yeah, I mean, they didn't call us that directly, but the inference was like, how dare we do, yeah, it may be good, but you know what? Yeah, I'm used to not being told things, but I'm not gonna just, I'm gonna cast if you wanna call it a Pyrrhic vote,
Yeah.
you can look that up, what that means.
I'll have to Google that.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna just say, hey, neither am I gonna let that guy call the mayor a goofball, because, you know, he's not that, but, you know, he has his own style, it doesn't agree with me, okay?
I mean, for that caller to blame him for what's been going on for 100 years is kind of ludicrous.
It's like the PFM report. That report was out Monday, and council didn't have it till Thursday.
Oh, from the guy that came in?
Yeah, the consultants. Now, we could have had 3 days to look over that report to get some valid questions. Instead, I had to scramble in a 24-hour period, stay up late at night,
Yeah.
you know, reading that report to try to put some questions together.
That's typical politics, though.
No, it's not. It's not. It wasn't always that way.
County does the same thing.
It wasn't always that way.
When was it not that way? It was worse when the previous mayor.
I would say some that they're going to kill me on this. Okay.
Don't say it then.
I'm going to say it. You know, for as bad as they claim Rick Filippi was,
Yeah.
we had a lot more transparency. He was overburdening us with, you know, go to this thing, go to that thing, you know, this thing's open if you want to come.
Yeah.
You know, it overkilled us, all right? That's what you want as a councilman. Look, maybe you can't make the groundbreaking.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. We weren't even invited to the swearing in of the firemen.
Right.
That's a slap in the face of council,
Yeah.
okay?
Right.
Those are things that can't be allowed to happen, all right?
Yeah.
We are an equal partner, okay?
Right. Go ahead, caller.
Hi. How you guys doing today?
We're good. How are you?
Good.
Yeah, John and I are having a philosophical argument.
Yeah, we're just BS.
Yeah, I heard that, and I thought, well, you guys are sitting there BS, and I thought I'd share my little shopping excursion with you guys.
But this is what we want to hear. We want
Yeah,
people
right.
to call. Go ahead.
Yep. I've shared with you different places that I've gone shopping, and this past week was last week. We went shopping to East Aurora, New York. Have you ever been there?
Years ago, that's on the probably the east side of Buffalo, I believe.
I'm going to tell you, they're downtown, and their main street, which goes on and on and on and on, it's exquisite. It's fantastic. There are restaurants, there are boutiques, shops. There's no Dollar Generals, and there's no child care facilities, and there's no sex toy shops or anything like that. But I'm going to tell you what a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous city. Just absolutely. And if our mayor's truly interested in making Erie a world-class city, instead of going to China or wherever he goes, he should visit our neighbors, because they know how to do it. And it's absolutely amazing. We dropped a bundle there.
Well, you know what? It was pointed out by people in the past that were, I talked to people that were partly responsible for how our downtown looks today. And there were decisions made that probably shouldn't have been made, that now are going to be tough to get out of. But long range, I agree with you. It's just that when we talk about it, some people get really irritated, but yet when you go out of town, you go pick any town, or East Aurora, Chicago. I was just in Gettysburg, and I saw the complete opposite, a little borough, just like you saw in East Aurora, vibrant, you know, cafes and bookstores, stuff like that. It can happen here, but we're going to have to be very careful how we, you know, what we allow downtown and how we approach it. We can't just be a city of bars and taverns. We need some little stores, just like Lori Eaton. I'm not picking on her, but stores like that, little boutiques, you know, some nice restaurants, some nice, maybe some bookstores or something. And I think the
EDEC.
yeah, they're on the right track, and so are the Downtown Improvement District. But it's going to take a lot of political courage. But I agree with you, ma'am. I really do.
Well, I'm going to tell you, free parking on the street. Absolutely, they make it so accessible. Want you there. They want you to come spend your money. It's not competition with anybody. Everybody, all the different stores and boutiques. They recommend their neighbor. It was so delightful.
I'm gonna give them a call. I don't have any, well, being in New York, I don't have any connections with them like I would through Pennsylvania cities, but like just in Gettysburg alone, when we were there this weekend, I was talking to some guy and he said, they actually have various levels of parking. So if you're an employee, you know, you don't have to get like a full month. They have rates designed, they're not necessarily like nailing people right away.
Right.
The rates are kind of, you know, now we'd have to look at that long term.
Right.
But the lady has a good idea that when we were walking like Gettysburg, it was interesting. I mean, it was like same thing we have, but multiplied. You saw like storefront after storefront after storefront, and it was actually nice, you know.
Right.
But I like your idea, ma'am. I'm going to give him a call.
Don't just give them a call. Go visit. Take some money and go shopping. They'll love to see you. I'm going to tell you, it was the sidewalks were busy. They were people sitting around chit-chatting, and there was music on the sidewalks. It was an absolutely fantastic day.
Another place I saw it was Bethlehem, PA. That was one. I was there because my son lives out in that part. And then we were in a town, do you remember where they filmed Groundhog?
Yep.
Punxsutawney.
Huh?
Punxsutawney.
Well, not Punxsutawney. No, it was filmed in Illinois.
Really?
Woodstock, Illinois. And I got pictures to show you, John.
Yeah.
And you go around that little city. It's a town square. And they're renovating every old building. Now, they're very small.
Yeah.
But there's more activity in that little one block area
Right.
than you can imagine, you know? I mean, you had a coffee shop that was second to none. It was just like our Ember and Forge, you know,
Right.
but bigger and, you know, they're actually moving because they needed more room.
Right.
And you had like little businesses and little restaurants, just like this lady's talking about. And I think that's the plan. Like, you know, around Perry Square, that should look like, you know, that should be a nice, pleasant place to,
Yeah.
you know, be able to stop and,
Yeah. It's too bad they didn't have like horse and carriage rides.
well, we could if we would find a way to take out the parking. Maybe, you know, one lane like,
Yeah.
and we could have horse and carriages. There's no reason why we can't.
And they would do is just between Gridley Park and the city.
Yeah.
Wing. Go ahead.
The thing of it is, though, is you have to have shopping. You have to have interesting things to, like I wouldn't go downtown to ride on a horse and carriage. Personally, I wouldn't do that.
No, you wouldn't, but out of towners would. That's the thing. You know, like when I go out of town, most of the people that take the carriage rides are people like me that are from out of town.
Yeah.
But what we could do, ma'am, and I agree with you on this, we need to expand the scope of, you need places to eat, drink, shop a little bit, you know. And that's gonna take some work, but we can do it if we want to.
There were so many restaurants, we had a hard time deciding which one to go eat at because every one of them was no chains. I mean, it was just a real delightful experience.
Mm-hmm. If you look downtown now, there's no chains really, you know, outside of a couple like McDonald's and stuff, but many of the restaurants that existed prior to, you know, what happened around Perry Square, they were all private. They were, you know, local people. You had different ones like Puffer Belly around the corner, you know.
Although you're talking about people coming to Erie, out of town people coming to Erie, and you know, for the most part, they have to get here on 79, right? Agreed?
Agreed.
Or 90, right?
Yeah.
79. Well, 90 to 79.
Yeah.
When they come into Erie, they see a dilapidated, just pathetic Lord site.
You're right.
Can't imagine why you guys don't put the pedal to the metal and start finding them. You could probably make up our $11 million shortfall with making these sites step up to the plate or find them.
Well, the Lord site is not the most embarrassing one to me is that one on 12th Street.
12th and East Avenue.
And that was featured on the what was it, Billionaire or
Yeah.
Millionaire, and
Anytime a show comes to Erie
yeah, and they look at that.
and they look at that, oh, they're like, oh my God, look at this. We
And we've been hammering that since Jim Thompson was here,
Those guys,
and nothing happens.
people, they, see, the problem with that, ma'am, is, like, a perfect example is what Kaz on 12th Street, these guys have been fined, they've been cited, they've been taken to the district justice. Every avenue the city could possibly take to make those guys fix that area, fine them, they've done it. But the guy, you just can't take the property from him.
And the DJ won't, well, he's threatening to throw the guy in jail, but you don't see him there.
He's not in jail.
I don't understand that because there's properties being taken away from people down on 4th Street.
Yeah, but it's a long process. We actually discussed that, league, this weekend, about how do we speed up the process of taking over
Yeah, but here's
abandoned buildings, you know?
here's the problem. If the city takes that building over,
They own it.
they own it. And you know what that means? You have to pay for demolition of that building.
But this is why, when we started the land bank, okay, the land bank was a tool that they could systematically, hurry up the process.
That would be a really good one.
But she's right. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely.
but what you don't see is it takes a number of years before. I just saw a building on Pine Avenue that was there. God, it's been bad since I was the controller. That was 16 years ago.
Yeah.
And they just took it down this year.
Yeah.
Another sad sight is the Liberty Plaza.
Yeah, it is. Isn't that embarrassing?
And then across the street is a big, huge, unkept
Parking lot.
lot. It isn't even a car lot. You can't even call it a car lot.
Oh, you're right. I remember, ma'am, you know what the sad part is? I lived in that area, and I remember when they opened that up, and it opened up to pomp and circumstance. We had a carnival there. People actually parked in that parking lot, and over the years, it's an embarrassment now, yes.
It is. I was parked in the parking lot at the Liberty Plaza, waiting for my husband to come out, and I watched a local cement contractor pull up into that parking lot and dump and wash out the end of his load.
Wow.
Cement load into the, people don't, if it looks like crap, they're gonna treat it like crap.
You're right. You go up there now. I remember one year they had the audacity.
The broken windows.
Do you remember what they did? You don't remember this. They had a football truck.
And they parked there.
Well, it used to be, nobody really, it wasn't, you didn't have the right to do it,
Towed them.
but nobody ever really cared, right?
No.
The bus would pull in there, this is before the grass was really
Yeah,
high now.
yeah.
And people would park there, and they had them towed.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
It said, and now you look at, somebody ought to find that guy. It looks like, I don't know if that's, our new garden law where they can grow, alfalfa in there or what, but. No, I agree with you, ma'am,
You should find them and say, dig up your cement, plant some grass, plant some trees, and landscape it. It doesn't cost a fortune to do that.
no, I think you're right, because you know what, I don't ever see them using it as a parking lot again, unless Liberty Plaza goes back to its, previous.
There's nowhere that needs parking.
Well, back when the plaza was a big, big part of the, shopping scene before the mall, people actually parked on that side.
Right.
I mean, there was a traffic problem. People had to, walk across.
Yeah.
But you don't have that problem now.
No.
One last thought before I hang up, because I don't want to extend my 5 minutes too
That's
much,
okay,
but
that's
you guys were sitting there just chatting with each other, is the mayor was talking about starting a Chinese district.
Yeah.
Inviting all these people over from China, and they can come here to enjoy our world-class health care, blah, 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 and all that. Erie is so depressed already with the fact that we don't have people that are paying taxes. We give away our properties to the nonprofits. They don't pay any taxes. And now we're going to invite in all these people from China who won't pay any taxes. But, the people that do pay taxes, I personally know 3 families right now that are moving out of Erie.
Yeah, I probably know a few too.
Not surprised.
I would be for the Chinese district if they brought in business, started a district like you see in New York or Chicago.
Like a Chinatown?
Yeah, and paid, you got businesses that pay taxes. I'm not against that, but no more free handouts because, you know, we can't afford it. We need people,
Driving,
pardon?
you know, what he's talking about, another free handout. You know,
I hope it isn't, because I want to see, look, I would love it if the immigrants that are here did what they did in the old days, and start businesses, bakeries and all that, and it turned into, you know, thriving businesses. That I'm all for, you know.
absolutely. You know, I love that type of diverse culture, but I don't see that happening.
Well, I'd love a Chinatown if they came in and they invested, and, you know, they said, you know, we're actually building restaurants and,
I saw in the paper, the main increase in, foreign population is Puerto Rican. So, I'm not sure where the Chinese are coming. I don't see too many Chinese people.
no, it's not a, you know, destination spot. We're getting a lot of Mideastern people, and there are a few good restaurants around town. I can point them out that, you know, I've had a good meal there. That's what I want to see. You know, I want to see, you know, I love going over, like,
It's good to have diversity, but we also need some people with, you know, disposable income.
I've ate at Habib's, and that's a great place, you know, by the,
Yeah.
you know, great food there, you know.
Some of the stuff I see they're selling at these stores, it's like, but hey, somebody likes them.
Yeah,
Well, thanks for calling.
Thing I know, wait. One
Oh,
last
okay.
I hang up. The mayor isn't going to give away free leaf cleanup in his neighborhood this year, is he?
What do you mean free cleanup?
He sends out all his trucks and all his men out to the frontier neighborhood, and they clean up all the leaves for all the residents out there in the frontier neighborhood.
Yep, I was told that, this is I was told off the record. I said, how come I gotta bag my leaves and Frontier doesn't? They go, well, they got more trees. I go, really? You're gonna stay on that sword?
You don't pay as much as they do, Cass.
What, yeah, but that's not the way it works. John, if that's the case,
I'm just
wait, okay,
Oh,
ma'am, are you listening to this, man?
Whoa, he's
Hey, okay, if
Get
that's
all
the case,
tight. He's
then
all
what you're
tight.
gonna do is you're gonna lower my taxes
no.
because I'm not getting the same level of service, okay? You follow me,
Exactly.
right, ma'am?
Oh, you pay per square foot on your house, if I'm not mistaken, you know, and on your property. And their house is bigger, their property's bigger, but when you lay it all out, you know, it should be basically equal.
Yeah, there's just as many trees in my neighborhood as theirs.
Yeah, but you don't pay
I
what
got
they do.
so many
that's not-
trees,
oh.
we probably have to bag up 100 bags of leaves on our property every year.
John's going back to the Titanic theory. Let all the poor people die before, you know, load up the lifeboats.
The steerage.
Yeah.
The steerage.
Thanks for calling, ma'am.
Thanks
Calling.
for calling.
I want you to call again, okay?
Let us know when you go out to some other places.
Well, go check out East Aurora. Go visit.
My next trip to Buffalo, I'll do that.
Okay, bye.
She's right though. My aunt lives, Eden, and not Eden Angola. Yeah, the Eden
Yeah.
Angola area.
East Aurora used to have a good football
Yeah,
team.
and I went to a music festival there, and the downtown was really nice. What it was the school, that was their fundraiser for their music program. All local bands in that area, like if they were to do it here, you'd have a band at Perry Square. You'd have a band up at this park up here.
Yeah.
You'd have a band by, you know, all in the taverns. They had, you know, different bands, different types of music everywhere, and you charged like $10 for a pass, and the pass would get you into all these different places.
Well, you know, at Gettysburg, this week they blocked off the street, unlike what we do.
Yeah,
And they had you could go down there and they had local vendors that you could buy local food. It sounded like a little festival.
yeah.
But that was nice though, because you seen people coming in there and they sampled places they never been maybe,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, see, there were some other things I wanted to talk about the Roar on the Shore, but we're out of time. Are there all new people on the parking authority?
Are there what?
New members on the parking authority?
There was 2 new members appointed.
Okay.
I mean,
Careful what you wish for on that one.
within the last year, I'm gonna say.
Okay.
You know, since
What
last,
about since the new administration? How many people?
2.
Okay.
That's what I meant, within the last,
There's a lot of stuff we could have touched on.
but we should.
That was a good call though.
But John, hey, you know what? We'll have a lot to talk about before the end of the year.
I bet we will. and they, trying to price out the water department, or water works.
What do you mean, sell it?
Well, they're trying to get a,
No, that wasn't,
appraisal.
see, now, John, that's where the media,
No, trust me, I know they're half right.
I,
Whenever you see a story in the newspaper, just like the news, I hate that. Like if they interview you, they'll ask you 5 questions,
I had a long,
and they'll take out a tidbit.
I was one-on-one with the guy that did the report this week
Okay.
at the League of Cities.
Yeah.
And we talked about it, and if you read the report, it doesn't say we're gonna sell it,
Yeah.
okay? When they interviewed the Water Authority, the Water Authority offered, that was what they wanted to do, okay?
Yeah.
They did.
Yeah.
That's not the city asking them to do it, okay?
Right.
So, when they did their report to us, that was one of the things they put in there, that they looked at all aspects of the city and said, based on what other cities did, farming out the garbage,
Yeah.
farming out the, because I think Allentown sold their water authority, and they use it to balance their, pension plan.
Right.
But they never made a recommendation to do it. They said, if you do it, these are the things we've been told.
Right.
And they also point out that the figure that the water authority gave us might not be right. Okay, that was their estimation, not what might be the market value.
Well, let's talk about that.
Yeah, so it wasn't like everybody's out there, the media goes, we're gonna sell the water authority. No, and we didn't even say we're taking away pensions. There was discussion openly about what we could and couldn't do, what we should look at.
Yeah.
But there were no recommendations.
Right.
And there were no, ironclad things like, we're
pension-
gonna sell the water authority.
Pension reform, healthcare, co-pays.
Yeah.
I mean, hello, I don't need to pay some guy to drop that screen
But see,
down
the
to tell
problem
me
is,
that.
if you ask the state for help, which the mayor did,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Because we don't wanna go Act 47, and Joe Sinnott did the same thing.
You kept us out of it.
Joe Sinnott had the same report done by another outfit.
Our mayor said, Schember said,
Yeah.
that's gonna be tough, and if I don't get reelected, I don't get reelected, and that's
Well, here's the thing now,
ballsy.
he and Joe Sinnott both, had this committee come in. You
Yeah.
got to pick who's coming in
Yeah.
and basically the state says, well, if you want help from us, the first thing you gotta do is you gotta take one of our agencies to come in and look you over.
Yeah.
And they gotta tell you what you're doing wrong. Okay, I just met with the auditors. They told us the same thing, John.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
It's no surprise to most of us. But when somebody comes in and tells you that, okay, and they go around and they tell you to, it adds some credit. I can sit here and tell you something all day, nobody says, I just can't talking. But when, somebody comes in, like Buki, he's not God. He said, this is what you should do. He didn't tell you how to get there,
Right.
okay?
Yeah.
But, I think, there's gonna be a lot of hard decisions
Well,
made.
we're in the Wall Street Journal today, so.
Yeah, and that's,
We've got a lot of positive things going on.
but what we gotta do now is like this lady said. We gotta really look at our downtown and say, is this what we want? What do we want,
The people that are doing the downtown, now we need to get jobs here. The, Chamber of Do Nothing, it's
remember this, John, this is and I said this, and I'll stand by my comment.
Yeah.
This is a 20-year project.
Yeah, the chamber's trying.
And
They
it's
got
gonna
this
take-
new guy in there, but I think he's getting, people are listening to the wrong people, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because I don't know why they're listening to these people, but these people have led us down the wrong path before, and they're just listening to these people. But the Chamber of Do Nothing is trying to do some things, so.
Well, here's the thing, the chamber represents the whole area, okay?
Yeah, but the chamber's listening to people, instead of being their own little, because they want money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They need money from here, they need money from there. So
I'm worried
the chamber's listening to the wrong people, and in the long run, they're screwing themselves.
What I listen to is the DID who represents the individual merchants here,
Yeah.
okay? They got a voice.
I'm
EDDC, because they are,
gonna tell you why that's a good thing. The EDDC has their own money, so they're listening to people that have already done it, can put the capital where they need to, whereas Chamber of Commerce, they're listening to elected officials, the business.
But not always the guys from the city.
Correct.
I mean, their scope is broad, that's
They're
great.
a county, they're a countywide
Right,
scope.
I'm looking at like DID,
Yeah,
John Buchner and his group,
correct.
because, there's some people don't agree with John Buchner, but
Right.
if you talk to the merchants and you talk to the EDDC,
Yeah,
who are people that are vested in the downtown,
yeah,
okay?
Yeah.
And then what we have to do now is listen to the right people
right,
when we go out into the neighborhoods.
exactly.
I can't be worried, like, it's great when I hear we should cooperate.
People-
We're getting a brand new, business out in Mill Creek, doesn't do me any good.
People need
Okay.
to have input of what goes on in the neighborhood. They need to have a sense of territoriality, a belonging, like, hey, I'm part of this. And that's how you develop pride in
Yeah,
neighborhood.
I'm not worried,
rights.
I'm not worried about the new store that opens up out in Mill Creek. I mean, I like it, and that's great, but I wanna see that store in Erie.
I'm sure,
And that's my job, is how to get it there.
I agree.
Because at the end of the day, John, I just work for the 90, whatever that number is now,
Yeah,
the 96,000 that encompasses the city. I can
dropping.
I can have an overall vision of the whole area, and that's great. But at the end of the day, I gotta get our little core straightened out first.
yeah, and dropping daily, our population.
Well, it should come as no surprise to anybody.
No.
I won't tell you, I mean, I know the reasons, and you do too, and I'm not gonna say them over the air. But there are
I
many
think
reasons.
everybody knows the reason.
But there are many reasons.
Yeah, I mean, no jobs, crime, shootings.
Perceptions.
Yeah, I mean,
I think this
no
is.
jobs.
you know-
If you have jobs, that reduces crime. You'd have more investments, and then it would spread out to different.
Yeah.
Like we talked about before, the whole Lower East Side when Hammermill was open, you didn't see that much crap over there like that.
No, and
You
I
didn't
try,
see that
and what I
area
try
like
to do,
that.
John, I try not to really go up to Peach Street too much, but like to, that restaurant I went to, Habib's, next to the railroad station, places like that, local merchants,
You need these.
the Ricardos and them, I like to give them the
You
business.
need these family sustaining wages so people can own their houses. People that rent don't give a crap. Majority, they care about what's inside. They
You're
don't
right.
give a crap about what's outside.
And that's what's happened. I mean, when you look at my neighborhood,
And then when you,
going along East 38th Street,
yeah,
it's almost all
perfect,
rental.
that's a perfect example. But Kaz, we could talk till 5
Yeah.
o'clock, so,
But it was a good, hey, you know what? Once again, tell the people that this is your show, so call in.
Yeah.
We don't like to ramble.
Kaz and I can go to Tim Hortons or
Yeah, we can ramble at Tim
go to
Hortons.
breakfast place.
Breakfast
sometimes,
place, yeah, there we go.
So,
We can ramble there, but not,
yeah, so.
See
all
you
right.
next week, John?
Yep, thanks for calling.
Yeah, we had a night on downtown Gettysburg. Beautiful.
You have been watching Taxpayers Hotline, recorded live from the fabulous city of Erie, Pennsylvania.